portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
3 jailed Cuban detainees are expected to appear before the court on Thursday in a bid to be released from custody. Their claim is the same: abuse while in detention.
Now, they have filed a habeas corpus writ, which requires a person under arrest to be brought before a judge or into court, especially for investigation of a restraint of the person's liberty.
Responding to this, Foreign Minister Fred Mitchell said the individuals are being lawfully detained at Her Majesty's prison. He also assured that there's been no change in government's position on the matter.
Meantime, Cuban protesters continue with their hunger strike in Miami. Janelle Noel Ferguson has the latest.
We are going to take it to whatever circumstances it brings upon us.
We return 10 days later to Biscayne Boulevard, where, as you can see, the hunger strike is still occurring. Ramon Sal Sanchez, who is the leader of the democracy movement, has joined in with Jesus Gomez and says that after recent talks with the government, they're still not satisfied that the Bahamas is doing all they can to bring a resolution to this matter.
Bring the people that they took to Fox Hills back to the immigration detention center at Carmichael Road. This did not happen.
Sanchez said U.S. Congressman Joe Garcia recently met senior government officials and requested that the Bahamas implement more human rights policies in regards to detainees. But this is something that the government has maintained already exists and has repeatedly dismissed claims of abuse.
People of goodwill over here are exploited because some of the information is fabricated. And so we want you, who are descendants of the Bahamas and friends of the Bahamas, to be the first line of defense for the Bahamas. Because you know your country, you know your roots.
The Bahamas needs to recognize that there is a problem to give a solution. How are you going to give a solution to something that is not a problem? Give it to us in writing, and at that point we will immediately stop the hunger strike and begin asking people to travel back to the Bahamas.
Now, Sanchez showed us what is believed to be letters communicated between representatives of the Consul General Office and Garcia. Sanchez said the Bahamas denouncing the video is something they cannot accept.
He's saddened that the Bahamian people
esté sufriendo consecuencias
are suffering consequences, negative consequences,
en que los turistas ya no quieran viajar a Bahamas.
In regards to tourism, traveling to Bahamas.
Now, protesters say that they plan to erect more protests around the city of Miami in the various Cuban communities. They also say that 15 countries where Cubans are placed are planning to join in this protest. From Biscayne Boulevard, I'm Janelle Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Well, President of the 17 million member Seventh-day Adventist Church, Pastor Ted Wilson, weighing in on the stem cell research issue. His comments came during his official visit to the Bahamas this weekend for a Thanksgiving service.
Now, he says while the church hasn't taken an official stand on the matter, it supports the preservation of life.
This is not something which Seventh-day Adventist Church has manufactured or has concocted in any way. It comes directly from the Bible. We do recognize that people have differing opinions, and we do not believe in destroying people or hurting people who have differing opinions. But the Seventh-day Adventist Church is very clear on its stand. And we would like to encourage everyone to point people back to what Scripture says.
Well, Pastor Wilson also weighed in on another controversial issue: homosexuality and gay marriage.
There are ways to advance science and research in terms of using methods that will not require the taking of life. That is what ought to be followed. So we certainly want to follow Christ's methods of bringing life to situations and not in any way to sacrifice life for what may appear to be an appropriate goal. And I don't want to cause undue discussion or difficulty within your present discussion, but I would say that the Seventh-day Adventist Church very strongly advocates the preservation of life.
Accused murderer Kofi Goodman has chosen to remain silent when the defense opens its case this week. The court was also told that no witnesses will be called on Goodman's behalf. Defense attorney Jeffrey Farquharson will address jurors on Wednesday, and both sides will make closing statements a day later. The judge will then sum up the case, and once that's done, Goodman's fate will be in the hands of the jury. The 38-year-old is accused of killing 11-year-old Marco Archer 2 years ago. Budding politicians sharing their views on the national development. They gathered in the lower house last week for Youth in Parliament. Cyan Thompson tells us that the focus was the bridge to the future. The journey continues.
Bahamian youth taking center stage in Youth Parliament, one of the 40th anniversary activities for the year. The youngsters voiced their concerns on various areas, including social promotion and education, a national youth policy, food security, agriculture, and civic education in the public school curriculum. Among the youth members of Parliament were Taja Moxie, Garden Hills, Letitia Adderley, Carmichael, Monica Johnson, South Andros and Mangrove Key, Prashana Gibson, Michael, and Ramon Mitchell, Fort Charlotte.
1. Banish the dreadful practice of social promotion. And 2. Create a curriculum tailored to leadership and not servitude.
Take on the leadership mentality of the late predecessor, Celine Pinlin, who believed in making us the youth of the Bahamas known as the agents of change. We want this policy now. We need it now.
Can we make the agricultural industry comparable to the tourism industry? Yes, we can. We can develop our agricultural sector to feed ourselves and cut our import food bill by more than 50%. Our most glaring failures have been our failure to create a more civil society and our failure to include more youth in the decision-making of this country.
There has not been a revised civics curriculum. Greater emphasis must be placed on an all-inclusive, revised, mandatory civic education for all Bahamian students. I believe this will accomplish several things, namely, deepen our understanding of historical, philosophical, political, social, and economic foundations of the Bahamas, promote understanding of how a constitutional government operates, and an appreciation of the rights and responsibilities of all citizens.
More of the youth parliamentarians will be featured in a later newscast. For the ZNS Network News, I'm Cyan Thompson.
Still to come tonight, one team off to a fast start in league action.
And later on, the band's party for independence. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. The central bank warns that the Bahamian economy is not expanding at a fast enough rate to reduce the 13.7% unemployment rate. The June report suggested flat economic performance was unlikely to have provided opportunities for employment gains. In this challenged economy, we understand that there seems to be much riding on the $2.6 billion Bahama development to boost employment figures. In other business news, Roger Colbrook has been named the new Director of Rooms Division at the Grand Lugane Resort. In his new role, he will oversee the world-class Sensa Spa, front office, guest services, and retail for the Grand Bahama property. Colbrook has a wealth of experience in hotel and casino management. He recently served as Senior Director of Casino Marketing with Kersner International. And for all of you who love to snap up great deals online at Amazon.com, those sales are now translating into 7,000 new jobs. USA Today is reporting that the retail giant says the jobs are a direct effort to meet growth demands. Of that number, the company is looking to create 5,000 jobs for its fulfillment centers across U.S. cities, while 2,000 customer service positions are now available. Amazon says the fulfillment centers are expected to pay 30% more than those of traditional retail jobs. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain.